In the journey of strength, vitality, and true health, there is a silent power that is often overlooked. It isn't just the hours you spend grinding in the gym, nor the strict diets you follow throughout the day. No, the real transformation, the genuine rebuilding of your muscles, organs, and even your mind, happens during your sleep. But what if I told you that just one spoon, taken before bed, could amplify this process? One spoon of a carefully chosen, natural element could become the missing key in unlocking your body's full regenerative capacity while you sleep. Let us take a step back. Imagine you are a warrior, one who trains intensely, not just physically but mentally. You rise early, work hard, and strive to embody discipline, but each day you begin to feel just a bit more worn out. Your muscles ache longer, your recovery slows, you wonder, am I missing something? You may be eating clean, training with intensity, meditating even, but still there's an unseen gap between your input and the results you deserve. The bridge, it might lie in what you do right before you sleep. There's a simple practice old as tradition, modern in relevance, that says, what you consume right before bed, even if it's a single spoonful, can deeply influence how your body recovers, rebuilds, and transforms overnight. This isn't about shortcuts, it's about alignment. It's about recognizing that while you rest, your body is in one of its most powerful states of healing and rebuilding, and that single spoon before sleep is not just a supplement. It is a signal, a message to the body, now the real work begins. The most engaging part of this transformation is how subtle it is. You don't feel it like a pre-workout rush. You don't see the effects immediately the way you might after a hard workout. But night after night, this small act builds momentum like water wearing down stone. Silent, powerful, unstoppable, the right spoonful becomes a sacred ritual, a commitment to deeper wellness, a nightly offering to the temple that is your body. In this speech, we will journey through 3 pillars of this ancient meets modern practice: understanding the power of sleep, identifying the correct fuel for muscle recovery, and awakening the intelligence of the body through mindful rituals. These are not just instructions, they are invitations to rediscover what has been hidden in plain sight: the power of one spoon, the power of sleep, and the infinite strength that lies in stillness. Every day, we rush through life thinking strength is built in the strain, in the resistance, in the effort. But let us shift this understanding. Strength is restored in stillness. Rebuilding does not demand noise, it demands alignment. What you do in your most quiet, solitary moments, especially before sleep, is what determines the power with which you rise the next day. You see, that one spoon before bed is not just about physical health. It is a metaphor, a philosophy, a reminder that even the smallest action, if done with awareness and precision, can bring about profound transformation. It's about turning sleep from a passive act into an active period of growth. Your body listens, it's intelligent. It doesn't just rest, it regenerates, it heals, it rebuilds tissue, balances hormones, rewires thoughts. And that one spoonful is the trigger, the signal that tells your body, it is safe now to repair, it is time to grow stronger. But make no mistake, not just any spoon will do. It must come from a place of purpose. Whether it's a natural adaptogen, a spoonful of honey with turmeric, or a dose of ancient herbs designed to support recovery, it must be aligned with your body's needs. Because what you feed yourself before sleep doesn't just influence digestion. It influences the quality of your dreams, the rhythm of your breath, the depth of your rest, and the precision of your recovery. And even more than the substance itself, it is the ritual that matters. When you treat this act with mindfulness, when you sit, breathe, and consume this spoonful, as if you are preparing for sacred rest, then the body responds. It doesn't just absorb nutrients, it absorbs your intention. That one spoon becomes a symbol, a contract with your future self that you are choosing growth, choosing healing, choosing alignment. So ask yourself tonight, will I just sleep, or will I rebuild? Will I let my body drift in disorder, or will I prepare it with precision? The answer may begin with one small act, one deliberate moment, one sacred spoon. As the moon rises and silence falls, your body begins its real work. And if you meet it halfway, if you prepare it with wisdom, you will wake not only rested but reborn, stronger, sharper, aligned. So tonight, take that one spoon, not just as a supplement but as a statement that you are not done growing, that your healing begins in the quiet, and that every night is a new chance to rise stronger. Let that spoon be your beginning, let your sleep be your battleground, and let your morning be the victory. The true battlefield of growth is not the gym, not the training ground, not even the moment when you're pushing your limits and sweating through your shirt. The real transformation happens when everything becomes still, when the lights are off, your eyes are closed, and the body slips into the mysterious, restorative process of sleep. But most people never realize this. They spend their days focused on performance and overlook the power of what happens in the quiet of night. Growth, recovery, healing, it doesn't happen while you lift, run, or push. It happens when you're no longer in control, when your conscious mind surrenders and your body begins to truly do its work. This is why the night is the true battlefield. Not because it's dramatic or cinematic, but because it's the place where every ounce of effort you made during the day either turns into progress or fades into waste. Your muscles don't grow during your workout. They break down. Your energy doesn't rebuild when you push harder. It gets depleted. What you do throughout the day is merely the setup. The payoff, the transformation, happens when you sleep, but only if your body is given the right conditions. Only if it's prepared, aligned, and gently guided into recovery mode. Every warrior knows this, not the kind who swings swords or trains in temples alone, but anyone on the path of growth. You need to recognize that growth is not about doing more, but about doing better, about being precise, about using your energy intelligently, and this understanding flips the entire conversation around health and strength. You begin to realize that sleep is not just downtime, it is active time. It is the time your brain flushes out waste proteins, your muscles repair damaged fibers, your hormones rebalance, and your immune system strengthens itself. All of this requires fuel, signals, and harmony. But look around how many people treat their nighttime hours with respect. Most go to bed distracted, scrolling through screens, eating processed foods late at night, or overstimulating their minds with no plan to wind down. They crash into sleep instead of entering it, and because of that, they lose the war that happens every night. They wake up groggy, tired, inflamed. Their muscles still ache, their minds are clouded, and their energy feels scattered. It's not because they didn't work hard the day before, it's because they didn't allow their body to complete the cycle of repair. Sleep is not a luxury. It is a necessity. More than that, it is a weapon if you use it wisely. But it demands preparation. It demands that you learn to respect the sacred hours between the end of your day and the start of your sleep. It demands that you understand this. Sleep is not an end to your efforts. It is the continuation of them, the phase where everything you've done gets sealed into your biology. And here is the truth: most people don't talk about your body is listening to your environment, your thoughts, and your actions before you sleep. It responds to subtle cues. A spoonful of the right food, consumed with intention before you sleep, acts as a signal. It's a way of telling the body, this is your time. Now, begin the healing. It's a way of activating the internal systems that are waiting to be switched on. Your brain waves begin to slow. Your nervous system switches from fight or flight to rest and digest. Your breath deepens, your metabolism adjusts, and your entire being enters a state of optimization. This is what makes the nighttime the true battlefield, not because it is filled with struggle, but because it is where the real inner battle between chaos and healing takes place, and it's mostly silent. You won't hear your muscles rebuilding. You won't see your liver detoxifying, or your immune system launching its silent repairs, but it's all happening, or it should be. If you give your body the right conditions, it becomes a masterful engineer. It knows exactly what to do. It doesn't need help. It just needs support. But support doesn't come from more effort. It comes from smarter effort. It comes from aligning your day with your night. It comes from respecting that the quiet hours are not to be wasted. They are to be honored, with rituals, with stillness, with care. That's why the old traditions, from ancient medicine to spiritual teachings, always taught that sleep was not just a break from the day. It was a sacred time, and the preparation for it was just as important as the sleep itself. So when we speak of 1 spoon before bed, we are not simply talking about food. We are talking about a message, a deliberate act that tells your body, I am ready, ready to let go, ready to rest, ready to rebuild. And that spoon, whatever it contains, be it a medicinal herb, a nutrient, dense natural substance, or even a calming tea, is less about the chemical impact and more about the intentional impact. It's a gesture, a ritual, a signal that marks the transition from effort to healing. And that is why night is the true battlefield, because it is the place where most people lose their progress, not through laziness, but through ignorance. They don't know that they are supposed to prepare for sleep the same way they prepare for training. They don't know that what they consume, feel, and do right before bed shapes the quality of their recovery. And in that gap of knowledge, they lose the opportunity to fully evolve. If you're truly on the path of growth, if you are committed to becoming stronger, clearer, more aligned, then you must shift your mindset. Stop thinking that growth only happens during action. Realize that growth happens during rest if you make rest sacred, and that begins with what you do before sleep. So take the battlefield seriously. Respect your nights, guard them, shape them, create rituals. Find what fuels your body best. And take that 1 spoon not as a habit, but as a declaration that you understand the truth. Your greatest gains happen when you stop trying and start allowing. That is the path of real mastery. Fueling regeneration with purpose is one of the most overlooked yet powerful practices in the journey of physical and mental evolution. When the day ends and the body prepares for deep rest, the foundation of overnight recovery begins. This process isn't random or automatic. It is highly intelligent and precise, but only when supported by the right signals. One of the most potent signals is the food or substance we consume just before sleep. What you choose to fuel your body with during this sacred window can determine whether your sleep becomes a time of transformation or a missed opportunity for growth. Your body does not shut down at night. In fact, it enters one of its most active phases, a different kind of activity, not explosive and visible, but inward, methodical, and profoundly restorative. Hormones like human growth hormone HGH are released in pulses during deep sleep. This hormone is responsible for tissue repair, muscle regeneration, fat metabolism, and overall recovery. But these internal processes require raw materials. The body needs amino acids to rebuild muscles, magnesium to calm the nervous system, antioxidants to neutralize inflammation, and enzymes to support cellular repair. Without the proper fuel, this nighttime symphony becomes disjointed. The body tries to perform at its best, but is left scrambling for resources, much like a builder without bricks or a fire without wood. Feeding the body before sleep isn't about satisfying hunger. It's about delivering exactly what the body needs at exactly the right time. 1 spoonful, when chosen wisely, can tip the balance. It can provide the amino acids necessary for muscle tissue repair, or healthy fats that regulate hormones, or adaptogens that calm stress levels and promote deep, uninterrupted rest. This isn't indulgence, it's strategic nourishment, precision feeding. You are fueling not the body of now, but the body you will wake up with tomorrow, and intention is everything. You must understand that your body doesn't just respond to the nutrients you give it. It also responds to how and why you consume them. When you take something mindfully, slowly, with the conscious thought, this is to rebuild, the body listens, your breath slows, your parasympathetic nervous system engages. Digestion improves, nutrient absorption increases. What would otherwise be an ordinary snack becomes a catalyst for powerful healing. That is the real difference between a routine and a ritual, between eating and fueling with purpose. Now think about what many people do before bed. They eat out of stress or distraction. Processed sugar, late night junk food, heavy meals that burden the digestive system and delay sleep. This creates internal confusion. The body wants to rest, but the gut is working overtime. The mind wants to release, but the blood sugar spikes. The result is shallow sleep, disrupted hormone cycles, and a morning filled with fatigue instead of energy. One wrong decision at night can sabotage hours of discipline during the day. And that is why this moment, the choice of what you consume before sleep, carries such weight. But it isn't only about avoiding the wrong choices. It's also about embracing the right ones. There are natural substances, tested across cultures, that assist the body in doing its nighttime work better. A spoon of ashwagandha, infused honey, for example, can lower cortisol and enhance sleep quality. A dose of collagen peptides can feed your connective tissue and skin while you sleep. A warm herbal infusion of turmeric, black pepper, and ghee can reduce internal inflammation and support liver function. These are not random remedies. They are targeted forms of nourishment that align with the body's needs during rest. You begin to understand that your spoon is not just a delivery tool. It is a vessel of precision. It is a bridge between your conscious efforts and your unconscious transformation. One spoon, taken with intention, before sleep, that is the ritual of the mindful warrior, not just for athletes, but for anyone walking the path of strength, health, and alignment. Because the truth is, the body does not need excess. It needs wisdom, it needs consistency, and it needs the right inputs at the right time. Timing is not just a factor in training, it is everything in healing. And what is more timely than the moment before you surrender to sleep? That is the moment when your body prepares to shift gears, to transition from motion to recovery. When you fuel that moment with awareness, you empower your internal systems. You turn on the switches that control repair, restoration, and growth. You are not giving your body calories. You are giving it permission. Permission to heal. Permission to rebuild. Permission to let go of the stress of the day and turn fully inward. This is what it means to fuel regeneration with purpose. It's not about volume. It's not about trends. It's about ancient truths meeting modern needs. It's about remembering that even a single spoonful, taken in alignment with the body's deeper rhythms, can create a ripple effect that lasts all through the night and reflects back in how you feel the next day. Your energy, your clarity, your strength, these are not accidents. They are built brick by brick, night by night, spoon by spoon. The discipline lies not in strict denial, but in sacred selection. What you choose to put into your body before sleep should not excite you, it should support you. It should calm, not stimulate. It should nourish, not numb. And it should be rooted in the understanding that the body is not passive at night. It is an intelligent engine performing the most delicate and vital of tasks. Your job is to give it what it needs to do that job well. And when you do, the results speak for themselves. You begin to wake up stronger, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally. You feel more centered, more stable, less reactive. Your muscles recover faster. Your skin clears up. Your digestion improves. You walk through your days with more resilience because your nights have become purposeful. That is the power of intentional nighttime fueling. That is the unseen reward of a single spoon taken with the right energy. So tonight, before you sleep, ask yourself, what am I giving my body to rebuild with? What raw material am I handing to my inner architect? Make it pure, make it purposeful, make it yours, because sleep is not just a time to drift, it is a time to build. And you hold the first tool in your hand, a single spoon, used wisely, it can rebuild your entire world. There is a difference between routines and rituals, and the body can feel that difference more deeply than the mind can explain. Routines are mechanical. They're what we do because we've done them before. They're repeated actions that don't necessarily demand presence or intention. But rituals are different. Rituals are infused with meaning. They carry energy. They are not simply about what we do, but how we do it and why. When it comes to deep recovery and muscle rebuilding during sleep, this distinction is essential. Most people have routines at night: brush teeth, turn off lights, maybe scroll through their phone until they fall asleep. These actions are mechanical, unconscious, and often numbing. But the body is not a machine to be powered down. It is a living, evolving, deeply intelligent organism that responds to how we treat it. And just as our body responds to the physical nutrients we provide, it also responds to the subtle signals we send through rituals. The body is listening to every cue: your breath, your posture, your mindset, your emotional state, your preparation for rest. The shift from activity to rest is not just biological, it is energetic, it is spiritual, and the way to guide that transition is through ritual. A ritual is presence in action. When you turn the final moments of your day into a ritual, you transform the energy around sleep from passive surrender into intentional healing. You prepare the body, mind, and spirit to align with recovery. That alignment is what awakens the inner physician, the part of you that knows exactly what needs healing, what needs strengthening, and what needs to be released. This inner physician has always existed within you. It's the same intelligence that heals wounds without your conscious input, that balances hormones without your effort, and that rebuilds muscle tissues in precise coordination every night. But it only fully activates when it feels supported, guided, and trusted. That's where ritual comes in, creating a nightly ritual, something as simple as dimming the lights, taking deep breaths, preparing a healing spoonful of nourishment, and consuming it with mindfulness, can switch your body into a parasympathetic state. This is the rest and digest mode where healing thrives. In this state, stress hormones like cortisol lower, heart rate slows, and brain waves shift into a rhythm that allows growth hormone to surge. But here's the key: it doesn't happen by accident. It happens because you created the condition for it to happen. When you do this night after night, your body begins to recognize the ritual as a signal. Just like the body knows to produce saliva when you smell food or knows to brace during danger, it begins to associate your ritual with healing. That spoonful before bed is not just nourishment, it's a trigger, a switch that tells your inner systems now is the time to rebuild. And that message, sent with consistency and reverence, becomes a part of your biology. Think about how powerful this is. You are not relying on willpower or effort. You're not forcing your body to get stronger. You're inviting it, you're giving it permission, and you're doing it through small, sacred acts that build momentum over time. What begins as a simple practice, a spoonful of recovery, enhancing nutrition before bed, can evolve into a transformative habit that shapes not only your sleep but your waking life. You'll begin to notice that your mornings feel lighter, that your recovery times shorten, that your mind feels clearer, not because you pushed harder, but because you aligned deeper. And this alignment doesn't have to be elaborate. Rituals aren't about complexity, they are about consistency and sincerity. A warm herbal drink, consumed slowly with intentional breath, a quiet moment of gratitude, a short visualization of your body healing while you sleep. Even the way you sit, hold your spoon, and set it down afterward becomes meaningful. The difference lies in your presence. When you are fully present in those moments, the body senses safety, and in safety it heals. In safety it rebuilds. In safety it opens the door for deep transformation. This is not a new idea. Ancient cultures have long known the power of ritual. From the ceremonial drinking of tea in Eastern traditions to the use of herbs and oils in Ayurvedic bedtime routines, humans have always intuitively understood that the energy we bring into our final moments of wakefulness carries into the depth of our sleep. Modern science is now catching up. Research shows that mindfulness practices before sleep reduce stress, enhance deep sleep stages, and improve tissue recovery. The body doesn't just respond to physical inputs. It responds to the emotional and energetic context in which those inputs are delivered. So when you bring intention to your nightly habits, you're doing more than just preparing for bed. You're training your inner healer. You're creating a sacred contract with your own biology, one that says, I am ready to support you. I trust you to do the work, and I will meet you halfway. Eventually, this ritual begins to echo beyond the night. You find yourself becoming more aware of how you fuel your body during the day, more aware of how you breathe during stress, more aware of how your energy shifts depending on what you allow into your system, foods, thoughts, emotions. You start to realize that the body's healing isn't limited to sleep. It's always working, always adapting, always listening, and your rituals become a language, a way of communicating with that deeper intelligence. When we rush through life with routines, we live on the surface, but when we honor life with rituals, we begin to sink into something deeper, something grounded, something real. That is where resilience is born. That is where strength is built, not in the noise and intensity of action, but in the silence and intentionality of recovery. So tonight, before you sleep, take your spoon as if it were sacred, prepare it slowly. Sit with it, let your body relax, let your breath deepen, feel gratitude, not just for the substance you are consuming, but for the body that will receive it. You don't need to force anything, you only need to trust the process and support it. Because your body is not broken, it is brilliant, it knows how to heal, it knows how to rebuild, and when you awaken your inner physician with ritual, you are tapping into that ancient intelligence that has been guiding healing since the moment you were born. You are no longer just going to sleep, you are entering a space of intentional transformation, and all it takes to begin is one mindful, deliberate act, one ritual, one spoon, every night, again and again, until it becomes not just a habit, but a path to the strongest version of yourself.